Tonight, the Trump administration says it will soon be sending an undetermined number of U.S. troops to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, following cruise missile attacks last week on Saudi oil facilities that the administration has blamed on Iran. Tonight's announcement was made at a joint press conference by Secretary of Defense Mark Esper and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Dunford.
In response to the Kingdom's request, the President has approved the deployment of U.S. forces, which will be defensive in nature and primarily focused on air and missile defense. We will also work to accelerate the delivery of military equipment to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the UAE to enhance their ability to defend themselves.
As for how many troops will be sent to the region, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff called it a moderate deployment.
I'll talk to CENTCOM over the weekend. We'll talk with our Saudi partners, and we'll work the details of the deployment. We'll be able to share that with you next week.
So there's been no decision on specific numbers?
We haven't decided on specific units. Broadly, as the Secretary said, it'll be capabilities to enhance their air missile defense.
And on troop numbers?
I would say at this point, a moderate deployment, Phil, and we'll have more details for you next week, but not ready to share the details.
Not thousands. Thousands would be not moderate.
That's fair to say, not thousands.
Not thousands, but some unspecified number of American troops will now be going to Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Tonight's news about troop deployments follows other news that we've gotten from the Department of Defense recently about the money the Trump administration cut from the Pentagon budget in order to pay for the president's border wall with Mexico. Earlier this month, the Trump administration raided $3.6 billion from the Pentagon's 2019 military construction budget in order to pay for a wall. You know, the one that Mexico was supposed to pay for. A full half of the $3.6 billion in Pentagon money that the administration has taken to pay for Trump's wall is being diverted from military projects, ranging from upgrading military training facilities to improving schools on military bases. The Pentagon has already warned of the dire consequences of this decision, including the potentially hazardous living conditions for U.S. troops and their families as a result of this reallocated funding. But now it turns out that the president is not done taking money from the military for his wall. Because as the Washington Post reports today, Trump officials are considering a plan to divert billions of dollars in additional funds for Trump's border wall. According to planning documents obtained by the Washington Post, Trump's wall will require over $18 billion in funding through 2020, far more than the administration has publicly disclosed. So how does the Trump administration plan to make up for this new funding shortfall? As the Post reports, if lawmakers refuse to allocate more funding, quote, the administration plans to dip into the Pentagon's construction budget for the second consecutive year to get another $3.6 billion. The Post reports this plan was discussed at a White House meeting last week, chaired by Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Quote, if the administration carries out the plan, the White House will have defied Congress to divert a total of $7.2 billion of Defense Department funds over 2 years, money that would otherwise pay to repair or upgrade U.S. military installations. The White House is proposing to double the funding cuts to U.S. military bases, both overseas and right here in the U.S. But hey, no one supports the military like Donald Trump. Watch this space.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.